All right, let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens here for a little bit. This is a team, obviously, a lot of drama around it. This is offseason, a lot of things involving Lamar Jackson. But there's a new report coming out, some news that shows that the Ravens have a golden opportunity in front of them that they absolutely should capitalize on if they want to improve their wild card finish last season. But before we get into that, Ravens fans, I want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. We're going to talk a lot about some additions this episode. Obviously, the Ravens are looking forward to make some big additions, whether it's through draft, free agency, or trades this offseason. But I want to hear from you guys about one guy, one current Baltimore Raven that you want off the roster. One guy you think is dragging down the Ravens that you think the Ravens would smartly get rid of this offseason, whether by trade or cut or whatever it may be. A guy you want gone off the Baltimore Ravens. Let me know who that guy is in the comment section below. But all right, like everyone who's been following the Ravens this offseason, a lot of the drama and news has been revolving around Lamar Jackson. There's obviously been a few changes in the coaching staff as well, and we've covered some of this on the show. But I think there's actually another report, a new piece of information that's coming out that's not directly involving the Ravens, but presents them with a huge opportunity. Everyone knows the Ravens, when you look at the whole roster, have a lot of really good pieces to be a deep contender for the playoffs. Great offensive line, good front four, good linebacking core, good secondary, great playmaking tight end, their depth at tight end, good running backs. They're not spending too much at the running back position either. If everything works out well with Lamar Jackson, they also have quarterback position figured out. The one weakness is, of course, wide receiver, specifically depth at wide receiver. I think they got a few good gadget guys. Duvernay is a nice explosive player. Robinson stepped in and did a good job. He's more of a number 3, though. And, of course, Rashad Bateman's the number 1, but the guy doesn't appear to stay healthy despite getting every opportunity to do so. So it looks like the Ravens definitely need to add quality depth at that position this offseason. And it has come, I think, a good opportunity to address that in the form of none other than former Tennessee Titan, former Los Angeles Ram, Robert Woods. Woods, according to multiple reports, was released by the Tennessee Titans earlier this week in a cap-saving move. The Titans have been looking to make a lot of moves. They've been dumping a lot of veteran players to free up a lot of cap space, and this is an opportunity here for the Baltimore Ravens to get a guy in Woods who went through a lot of struggles last season with the Tennessee Titans. It was a rough year for him. Didn't really fit in with that offense very well. The Titans had a very volatile quarterback situation going off Tannehill, Malik Willis, Josh Dobbs. Not a good situation for a wide receiver to be in at all. And yet, despite that, Woods had more receptions in that environment for the Tennessee Titans than the Baltimore Ravens leading wide receiver. That's an indication that obviously the Ravens wide receiver core, due to injuries and some of the issues, was not up to snuff. But I think Woods can come in and right away be a perfect fit. To me, he's the ideal number 2 to Bateman's big play, athletic skill making as a number 1. Woods is a separation guy. He's all about route running, good hands, that kind of deal. People forget in 2021, he was among the leaders in the NFL in separation yards from defenders. I think he had 3.8 yards. I think it was top 10, top 8, something like that in the NFL, according to Next Gen Stats. That is absolutely outstanding. And that's exactly what you need on third downs. Those 3rd and 5, those 3rd and 6s. Those are the situations the Ravens kind of struggle in. They're obviously really good on 3rd and short with where they can run the ball, their running games, and what Jackson can do with his legs. They have some playmakers at wide receiver. They can take some shots. But with 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, those passing downs, it's obvious defense is really key on Andrews, and with Bateman out there, very limited. But having a guy like Woods here who can run crisp routes, precise routes, get open, get that separation, get the first down, to me, that's the element in the offense that's been missing. And the fact that getting a guy like Woods would address that makes it such a critical move for the Baltimore Ravens. And if you back up a few weeks at the beginning of the offseason, and I found this on BaltimoreRavens.com, Jamison Henley, who I think is a reporter for ESPN, had some interesting comments detailing exactly what I'm saying here. I'm going to pull it up here on the screen for you. And he's just talking about what the Baltimore Ravens here should do this offseason. Because remember, they're going to have to address Lamar Jackson's situation, whether by a franchise tag or by signing him to a long-term contract. They have a huge cap hit coming due to that. The Ravens are about $25 million under the cap right now, so they have some space. But Lamar Jackson's going to eat up darn near all of it, or pretty much all of it. So they're going to have to restructure some things to even make a move for a guy like Woods. But even if they do, right, they're not going to be able to restructure so much to go after a big name. This is what Henley says here. I'm going to read from the report. If the Ravens were willing to trade a pick this year or swap picks this year and give up future ones, they would need to get new deals. He's talking about making trade with veteran wide receivers for DeAndre Hopkins, who has a $19.45 million salary in 2023, Keenan Allen, a $15.5 million salary, and Brandon Cooks, an $18 million salary. Because they wouldn't be able to fit them under the cap, right? Because if they have to pay Lamar Jackson, they do not have the salary cap space for $18, $19, $20 million per year players. It just doesn't work. The math doesn't work without cutting some of their best players. They have to completely retool the roster. Hensley went on to write, the more likely scenario, and this is what I was alluding to, is signing an expected cap cup like Adam Thielen, Woods or Thomas. And we obviously brought up Woods. I think he's the ideal fit. Baltimore has a track record of adding wide receivers who are 30 or older, from Derek Mason to Anquan Bolton to Steve Smith, right? So that's obviously, I think Bolton and Steve Smith, in my personal opinion, are the two better options there. I think Derek Mason had a good year or two with the Ravens. But the larger point there is that it just makes sense to add Robert Woods. They can get him for about $10 million a year, according to his last 2 annual per year cap hits. They could probably get him for a little less if they do more guaranteed money. Maybe a 2-year, $18 million deal, $14 million guaranteed, something like that. I think that makes sense. I think Robert Woods would agree with that in a heartbeat, getting that cash up front. That doesn't hurt the Ravens cap space that much. It allows them to retool a little bit to put dollars aside for Lamar Jackson, which is obviously their number one focus. And let's not lose sight of the fact that bringing a guy like Woods is also a message to Jackson saying, hey, listen, we're surrounding you with weapons. We brought in a veteran guy who's the exact need, the exact fit for this offense. Monken wants to go pro style. Woods is definitely a more pro style kind of receiver with the way he runs routes and things like that. Ideal fit for the new offense. We're bringing him in. He's a team guy. He's always been a kind of really good team player guy, good blocker when he needs to be. He fits what we need to do here. All right, Lamar, we brought in a weapon for you. We're gearing it all for you. We need you to be a little more tolerant when it comes to the contract negotiation side. And I think making a move for Woods would help in that regard as well. And on top of that, of course, it addresses the Ravens' biggest need. So to me, going after Woods and getting a deal done, I think is the perfect opportunity for the Ravens here. And I think they really need to focus on getting it done.